Hello everyone, and welcome to the Magic Feathers recording studio, aka my spare bedroom that really wasn't being used, and now it's definitely my favorite room in the house, probably my favorite room in the world to be in. My name is SOWA. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I hope that I can talk a little bit about my journey and sort of things I tried that didn't work, things I tried that did work, and why I think that is. And I hope that it can provide some insight. Maybe if you're starting a similar project, get you to better music faster and save you some headache along the way. A couple things that I tried first was those big heavy moving blankets. Yeah, they're great, great at making the room sound like like you're in space or something. It's just completely dead. I felt like I was over singing and I had to sing louder, and just really was unnatural. It just did not feel all that great. Whereas the room we have now, constantly people comment on how great the room feels. And I think that is at least in part to having control over the low frequencies. Like when you feel the kick drum in your chest at a concert, it's like that. It's hard to notice, but it's there. And so I think even sometimes when we're not completely conscious of some of these little things, they definitely influence the music, and I think that plays a role. The next thing I tried after I had completely covered, basically made like a vocal booth with those heavy blankets, was doing the whole dense fiberglass insulation, which was awful. I mean, you pretty much gotta gown up like you're doing surgery, and this stuff is really itchy. And I'll show you one of the panels. It doesn't look that bad, but it's really labor intensive. It's really a lot of work and doesn't sound that great. I mean, it kind of works, but not worth it, in my opinion. I think for the money, this foam sounds way better, and really was not a lot of work because I didn't have to manufacture it from scratch. So I think one of the first things people tend to notice when they walk into the room is that the walls are plywood. The ceiling's plywood, and it's different. I think it's different in a good way. I've really gotten a lot of compliments on it, and I think a lot of people think of plywood as ugly, but we used a cabinet grade plywood. It's really nice on one side. It's got wood grain. We just did a clear coat, and it kind of looks like an unfinished guitar looks. And there's all different types. Probably something for everybody, but you got to be willing to maybe choose something a little outside the box as opposed to just doing drywall, which acoustically the drywall really had some problems. It vibrated basically when we played music in here, whereas this doesn't really move. All the heating and air ducts would buzz, and some of it was subtle, but a lot of the subtleties add up to a big picture of, hey, this sounds like you recorded it in your bedroom. So if you don't want it to sound like that, then we need to think about doing something a little bit different. So finally, I had a few more thoughts I wanted to share, more like realizations or conclusions I came to along the way. The most important of which is that you, as the songwriter, singer, musician, you're the most important piece of the puzzle. You're the most important piece of the process with regards to producing a song. And it's easy to get lost or seduced or distracted by all this gear and the twisty knobs and the flashy lights and the sexy EQ curves. And at the end of the day, stuff is not gonna write the song for you. It's not gonna play the guitar for you. So, I mean, they're tools. Let's use them. Let's remember that that's what they are. And they're part of it, but they have their place, okay? At least that's how I feel about it. And I think that some of the less glamorous sides of the equation, like treating your room and doing all the hard work and all the stuff that nobody wants to do, that's important too. So don't overlook that. And you don't need to go overboard with any of it, but just do what you can do, work with what you have, get started today, and action, it speaks for itself. So I really do wish you guys the best of luck. I'm gonna leave you with a metaphor that I think sort of illustrates why I justified or why I decided to spend more of my budget on treating the room than on expensive monitors or expensive microphones. And that's this spirit level, which is a tool, right? Belonged to my great-great-grandfather. It's well over 100 years old, and I used it on my porch about a month ago. It still tells you whether stuff is level. It still works. You know, it's grounded in physics and science, and you know, there's not a lot of moving parts. And so I think a lot like Dennis's equipment here with this diffuser, which, by the way, I couldn't appreciate the way that it was made by looking at a picture of it. They really are like a musical instrument. They're really well made. And so I think that's worth mentioning. But in 100 years, this thing is still going to work too. And I guarantee that software, it'll still work, but it's probably going to be replaced by something else, you know, and you're going to have to upgrade and what have you. So I think it's a long-term investment, but I think it will maintain its value. And so I hope this was helpful. We're going to do another follow-up video. And if you guys have any questions or if there's anything you want to see in my room specifically, let us know. And if you want to check out my music, just go to magicfeathersmusic.com. Thanks.